Yo, what is up guys? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. So we finally got some info on what exactly is going to happen with the Halo franchise, as the future has seemed a bit dire. I mean, the past decade or so, the Halo franchise has been in a rough spot, whether it's because the Halo games themselves were just changing too much or missing content. There's just been a lot of issues throughout all the Halo games since I think like Halo 3. And you know, as that builds up, people have kind of started to lose hope in this franchise. Now Halo Infinite is definitely in a better state, but it seems like we're always stuck in that catch-up phase where we have to wait so long just to get features that have been staple modes in previous Halo games. Anyways, let's move on what you're here for, and that is the new info that has dropped. Now this was all through the XCast podcast. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out this video and the channel itself. But anyways, they were able to talk to a 343 developer. I believe he's a community director, and he's pretty well known amongst the Halo community, which is Sketch. So on this podcast, they did talk about some pretty deep stuff, and one of those being the future of the franchise, what's going to happen, you know, what's there to look forward to, and some other stuff that many people have been asking. So let's start off with the first thing, and that is the fact that Halo Infinite is definitely going to continue to get updates.
We're just more efficient now, and we're able to kind of make these things a reality. We're not done. So, I mean, I think based on our track record and the way things are trending, I have all confidence that the team's going to continue knocking it out of the park, that we have a lot of exciting things still in the works. I'm also excited about how all this sort of this new regime, if you will, and all this new sort of newfound success and progress, how this is going to pay off in the future as we kind of evolve the DNA of the studios.
Because I know there were some people worrying that, more so back then I guess than now, that they were going to cut support for Halo Infinite or something like that. But yeah, he essentially just basically says that they are going to continue to update Halo, and that it's been much more efficient now to actually update the game and add stuff, and that they still got several more big ticket items to work on. So yeah, it doesn't seem like Halo Infinite is going anywhere soon, so that's definitely good to hear. Something else they talked about was the gravity hammer changes.
When the hammer changes landed, I know internally there was not, some of us were surprised to see that happen. I don't know what happened under the hood. Some of it I think was intentional. Some of it maybe been a happy accident. I'm not super sure. But most of the resounding feedback was pretty positive. People were like, this is the hammer we've been wanting. This is the way it should be. So I don't have a good answer for you. I can't commit to what's going to happen. We did decide that we weren't going to make any swift changes to it.
If you haven't noticed already, in Halo Infinite with this Season 5 update, the gravity hammer got an insane buff. It now has a lot more range. The physics work a lot better. Some people have considered it to be even more overpowered. Personally, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it is a power weapon after all, so it should be pretty strong. But yeah, they go ahead and talk about that, and he says that the feedback for the new hammer changes was mostly positive, and actually some of the changes that were made to the hammer were somewhat unintentional. So something else they also talked about in this podcast, which is something that's been talked about for ages, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. There's always going to be a conversation about this, and that is the shop, the Halo Infinite shop, its prices.
It's taken us time to get here, but sort of even the money that model has generated is what's even allowed us to continue being able to bring the game to the level that we wanted to get it to. But I do understand that for the majority of people, there seems to be an overwhelming desire to see, can we do anything there to make things a little cheaper, make things a little bit more accessible.
More context to that, one of the big things that people were talking about was the Chief armor.
The team clearly knew that would be, if there was ever a thing that they would be able to put out there that might be able to help this game make some money. In a game that's, I mean, you know, as we've said, it's not like Halo Infinite's been doing gangbusters since its launch, right? So we're kind of in a hole. We've been digging ourselves out of this hole here, and they need any kind of extra help they can get.
And to sum it up, he basically says that they do talk about it internally. They do see all the feedback of people, you know, saying, you know, all this costs too much or stuff like that. And he pretty much just brings up that there is a synergy between the content and the shop, as because of people actually like buying stuff, you know, that's the reason they're able to continue updating the game. And they do talk about the Mark V armor, because there's been a lot of controversy around that, people wanting it to be like a armor you earn instead of buying and stuff like that, or it being too expensive. Now the funny thing is that he does say that the team definitely knew the Mark V armor would sell, and he pretty much says that's the reason why they did it. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. A lot of people are definitely going to buy something like that. And if anything, I mean, it's the people who buy that armor is the reason why they continue doing that. But yeah, let's just say that armor definitely helped them out a lot, because they even said, I believe, they've been in a hole when it comes to the monetization stuff, and they've been trying to like dig themselves out of it, and that armor set really did help out. So he did give us some insight on that, on how they've been handling that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a free-to-play game, so I'm gonna be honest, I don't expect much to change as long as the content keeps coming and we continue to get amazing updates. Moving on to the next thing they talked about here is the Halo Infinite campaign DLC. Was there like any campaign DLC being planned or something like that, was one of the questions.
I mean, I'll be honest, we have nothing to announce today
Yeah.
regarding any campaign content for Infinite. I'll even go a step further and tell you right now there's nothing in active development on that front. We made the decision, it was just over a year ago, to really double down on improving the multiplayer product, going after the key sort of sentiment issues and feedback items from the community. And that's really what's, I think, part of when we look back at how has the team been able to kind of hit this seasonality and become more consistent and really start to check all these boxes. So I am looking forward to seeing how that continues to evolve, how we can find these types of campaign-like experiences that might come from the community that we may or may not be a part of. We'll see, but bringing those up to the forefront, putting them in matchmaking, I do think there will be no shortage of PvE experiences still to come for Infinite in that regard.
And he basically just says that there's nothing to announce and that there's nothing in active development, and that pretty much their entire focus has been on multiplayer, as they've said it before. I mean, this comes to no surprise. I mean, they have said it themselves that they're just going to focus on multiplayer now, and it seems like that hasn't changed, which is unfortunate because I have no idea when we're going to see any more like story content to progress, Infinite story or just Halo in general. It is really disappointing, but kind of figured that was going to happen. However, he does mention that they do plan on bringing custom campaign experiences to matchmaking. Now there's no date for that, but they do mention that, which I think would definitely be fantastic. And the question we've all been waiting for, which was like the final thing they talked about, is Halo's future. Like what's going on there? Can we expect anything soon or something like that?
And as I look further ahead, I definitely don't think Halo's best years are behind us. I think there are a lot of really cool, exciting things on the horizon. Some things are further out. Folks that have been kind of keeping a keen eye might notice that we've started sort of posting some job postings again. I mean, the winds are blowing. We are starting to look ahead to the future. I don't think we have anything to say on that front for quite a while, but I mean, Infinite, as good as it is, and as more great things there are still to come, the studio has ambitions that reach beyond Infinite, and I'm very, very excited and energized to sort of take all the cumulative 25 years and all the learnings from Infinite and apply that to what could be next.
And to sum it up, he basically says that there's still a lot of cool things to come, and that he realizes that a lot of people have recognized that there's been several new job postings at 343, and that they're definitely starting to look ahead, but there's nothing to say for quite a while. He does also drop in real quickly, I think towards the ending, that Legendary Firefight is going to drop some point in Halo Infinite's matchmaking. As for the future of the Halo franchise, it seems like we are definitely going to get a new Halo game, which is good to hear and kind of expected. Although with how turbulent the Halo franchise has been with, all its games, I know some people were quite skeptical about whether they were going to stop continuing developing Halo because of all the issues that have arisen. So this seems to point to that the 10-year plan with Halo Infinite is definitely not going to happen. It's definitely nice to know that we're not stuck with Halo Infinite, because I'd like to see a new Halo game for sure. If you want to see more of what they talked about, I'll have the link to the video in the description down below. If you want to get a bit more info on certain topics that I covered here, as this was more of just a recap, letting you guys know the highlights and whatnot. Anyways, consider subscribing and liking the video, as it shows your support and I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.